Hello, this is Nita. This is Home She Rose, a podcast for women by women. I have Frida Lila on my podcast today. It's actually our first podcast, and I wanted to have her on my podcast because she has made a difference in my life. I met her about 7 years ago. Was it 7, 8 years ago? And since then, like, we have become good friends. Like, our kids are around the same age. We're also like good family friends, and she's just like a total action taker, and like her mindset is like no other. So how are you?
I'm good, Nita. Yeah, nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice to see you
Nice to
too.
do this podcast as well, and nice to see you grow in this industry as well.
Yeah, I know, and like we've been wanting to meet, right, for like some time, but both of us have been so busy. Like, we've been wanting to like go for dinner, and like it just we haven't been able to make it happen. But I think this is a good way, for us to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
So my latest rehab is a property in Chicago. So that's multi-family and multi-units. And then I'm doing a few other properties in Florida, in West Palm Beach, and then I have like obviously the rentals, the other real estate business. So and then obviously the kids.
Yeah.
That that keeps me pretty busy as well.
Oh yeah. Keeps keeps us really busy.
Yeah.
So you still have the multi units in Florida? I thought you fixed it up and
I sold
it.
one of them and then I purchased two more multi
Okay.
units. They're both the additional two are both multi units.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know. I thought, you were kind of taking a break for a little bit.
I thought I was too, but they were too good to be missed. So they were pretty good deals that someone approached me with the properties. I flew there. I looked at the numbers. It made sense. Cash flow was good. So I went for it, and I have people managing them right now.
Hmm.
I had to do a pretty big rehab over there, and I flew to West Palm Beach a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember that. I think
Yeah.
there's times when I called you and you said you were in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there one that you, I think last year you made like over $100,000 or something?
Yeah, it was a big profit, like close to 130,
Wow.
130,000. Yeah,
Wow.
net profit
Wow.
after
So
paying
talk more about that. Like, how did you acquire that property, and like how much was the cost of like the renovations, and like what did you end up
So
doing
that
with
was an MLS deal.
it? Okay.
I happened to meet one of the agents there in Florida, and she actually sent me a list of properties, like on listings, like usually on the MLS. I noticed this one. It was a 3-unit building, very good location, very desirable area, and it was already set up as an Airbnb. So basically all the furniture was there, all the it there was a property management company managing it. So I pretty much just purchased it as as it was. I did probably around $10,000 worth of rehab. It was very small, like like the HVAC needed to be changed,
Mhm.
and like one of the water heaters, little things. One of the bathrooms I just updated that. So it ended up being about 10,000. I paid 750,000 for it for 3 units, but it was a pretty desirable area of close to downtown West Palm Beach. In El Cid, it was called El Cid, the historical district. Then I pretty much kept it as an Airbnb for 11 months. So I did get the additional income from the Airbnb, and then sold it for $1 million, pretty much.
That's amazing.
11 months later, less than a
Wow.
year.
Yeah.
So
That's
the net
amazing.
profit ended up, after paying basically all commissions, everything else, closing costs, it ended up being about 130,000 net.
That's really good. I
And
remember.
I did not really, pretty much, I went there maybe twice. Even for the sale, I never went there. I had a notary that they sent to my house to sign all the documents. So pretty much it was very, pretty easy project.
So why did you decide to sell it then? You since it wasn't a
So
good area.
it was a good time to sell it because the prices went up quite a bit, and I found quite a few more cash flowing properties here in Chicago. So I did have to put down a deposit there. So the return basically on my deposit was good. But here, for example, in Chicago, we can find better returns,
Right.
better deals, basically. So I happen to have quite a few deals here going on, and I was like, well, that property was bringing me about $3,000 worth of cash flow a month, and if I use that money that I use for that property in Florida here, the cash flow here would be around $8,000 a month, and I would pretty much not have as much of my own money in the deal.
Right.
So I ended up taking the money, taking some of the cash out, and then purchasing more properties here.
Okay.
And then I ended up buying the other two in Florida because, like, for example, I sold that one for $1 million, but then I ended up buying another one for like 380,000 actually. So, which I'm actually in the process of selling right now for 600,000, and I've owned that property for about since December, so it's been around 7 months. And I have not done any work to that property, so I'm basically selling it for 600,000.
Where is that property?
Same location, similar location.
Okay.
So that was the reason basically I sold it, because I found more deals in Chicago. I found more deals there. So I was like, okay, now time to get a better cash flow.
Okay. So like it's been a while since like we talked about like where you're at as far as like your investing career, like where are you at right now, like how many rentals do you have, and like are you still fixing and flipping, because I know you were doing that a few years ago.
Yeah.
Are you still but you're not wholesaling at all, right?
I am not wholesaling, no.
And why is that? Why don't you wholesale?
So I don't need to. I would rather, if I'm buying something, I'd rather keep it or either rehab it or rent it out. I mean, wholesaling is good for, let's say, if somebody then needs cash right away.
Right.
And since it would have been good for me to begin with, wholesaling is very good for, let's say, if somebody doesn't have any money, so then they will, the wholesaling part will help them get that first property.
Right.
So I did do a couple of wholesales when I started off, so that's how I got some of the money to start off with.
Yeah.
So right now I'm pretty much doing rentals, so just keeping them. I have done quite a few flips as well. I don't like doing them as much because the goal is to basically keep the property, rent it out, and either rehab it and refinance it, and get the cash flow out of it. That's really where true wealth comes into play. Flips are good as well for wanting to get more cash out so you can grow faster.
Right.
So yeah, I have around, right now I have about 39 rentals.
39, okay.
And I've done about 20 flips, close to 20 flips.
Wow.
So far, yeah.
That's amazing. And you have two little kids, right? How
old
old
are?
I
have 2 little kids.
I know how old they are, but like, can you tell the viewers how old
So 5 and 3. 5 and 3.
And you're working. You have a W-2.
I am working full time as well.
Wow. So what keeps you going? Like you have a full-time job, you have two little kids, right? And
Yeah.
then you have responsibilities at home. What keeps you going? What motivates you every day?
I think I actually enjoy doing my W-2 job. I actually love what I do. With the real estate, I think the key and what I had to figure out really quickly is that I need people to help me. Even even if I'm paying them to do things for me, I will very happily pay them
Right.
because it's basically choosing the right team, choosing the right contractor, having somebody there to help you out when you need them.
Right. And you always hire a GC, right?
Yeah,
You never
yeah. I will
do
not
it on your
just see my
own.
own project.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I
Yeah.
mean I tried that one time, and it was a lot of work, and the project ended up being delayed. So I would much rather prefer to get a GC that they will handle everything. And I'll usually go there like once a week on a weekend and check how they're doing, and I'll ask them for like videos and pictures how they're getting on with everything. And I'll usually hire somebody as well to check on them.
But how do you manage like all these rentals and like on top of like
I have somebody that is I'm looking into property management. Um, some of the rentals that were more hands-on, I sold them. So I've kept pretty much the rentals that are, the tenants are nice.
okay.
The they don't need much. Like they might contact me once every few months. So it's pretty easy to manage the rentals once you choose the right tenants, obviously. Like I have a very rigorous process in screening tenants, and I think that's one of the most important things to avoid a lot of headaches.
Mhm.
And once we do very thorough screening, and we interview the tenants, and that helps us avoid a lot of headaches and hassles later on.
Yeah, definitely. So
And obviously I love enjoying, my priority is my family. So I enjoy being with them. I enjoy spending time with them. And that's why, with a real estate business, you really need to build a good team that can support you, you know.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
So are you planning on leaving your job? I know you just said that you love your job, and you always tell me that too. Are you planning on leaving your job at all? Like anything
So
soon?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how time will tell. I mean, right now I'm able to do it, and I'm able to handle everything. And it's a very nice company. I really love working with the people that I work with, and I really love what I do.
Mhm.
So it's kind of to me it gives me like a good balance, and they're pretty flexible. So I'm able to do it. I'm able to do the full time job and take care of real estate. Because as I said, with real estate, I do I do hire people to help me out with it, which is crucial. Because I you can do it all by yourself, and at the beginning I was doing it all by myself until you build a team
Right.
of people that you can rely on them to
Right.
to help you out, to sort you out.
Right. You can't really scale up if you're doing your doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think I have asked you this before, like about your mindset. Like you have a really strong mindset, right? Like everyone, we all come in at a different level, right? When I started my real estate investing career like about 7 years ago, right? Like my mindset was not there, and like I had to work on my mindset, as you know, right? I've done
Yeah.
like a lot of trainings and workshops and all of that. But like, whereas you, like, you have told me that you've always been like this, right? Like, is it because of like your childhood? Is it your family? Like, how do you have such a mindset like this?
I guess, I mean, I went to back in the UK when I lived there. I did do personal development courses. So since I was 18 years old, 18, 19, something like that. And I met a lot of great leaders, great people doing those seminars. So I think it's, you kind of have to grow your mindset with with going to personal development courses. I mean, that's really crucial. If people don't go anywhere, it's very hard to change and to grow.
Right.
As you know that,
Oh yeah,
very well know
you
that.
have to.
And I continue going to, like, I continue listening to great people. I continue growing and developing because you have to. I mean, nowadays we are just, we get new things all the time, and that's where my mindset came from. I kind of did a lot of personal development courses at an early age, which helped me, you know, where I am now.
Yeah. So you started at an early age, right? Like, whereas me, I started like just 7 years ago, right? Like after joining Andrew Holmes' mastery, right? Like that was the first.
And I mean, I've had quite, you learn because I failed as well in the past. I have failed. I've had a lot of, you try something out, it doesn't work, you keep doing it again. Like you find another way to succeed. Like I had investments in the past that I lost money, but I never gave up. Really, I think that's been one of the key things to success. Never giving up.
You kept going even after you failed. Did you lose a lot of money?
I did.
Okay.
But the good thing is I was young, so I had a lot of time to make it up, and I made it up very super fast. Like in a year, 2 years, I made like something that I could never think of I would be able to make. But it's I think personally it's through failure that you grow much faster, because then you learned your lesson. Now obviously it won't happen again, and then you somehow figure it out. Like there is, you network with people, so they help you to and you find amazing people.
Yeah, networking is huge. Like you changed, and you, like, I learned a lot from you, right? When I started this journey, right? Like and then even other people from mastery, right? So like having a good network is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like, never giving up. I think that's really important, because sometimes people will, and I've seen this before, sometimes people will get disappointed, they'll get tired out from something they're working on, and then they give up, and then that's it. Like, they just stay there, and they, they say, oh, this was not good for me, I'm not good at this, and they just leave it at that.
Yeah.
They do not, persevere, and so they can, they don't really have a breakthrough.
Right.
So
Or
that's
they blame someone. They blame
or
their
they blame
mentor.
someone. Exactly. It's like, oh, you told me to do this, and now here I am.
Yeah.
Or somebody, and they never take personal responsibility. Like, this happened, well, how can I do better next time?
Yeah. Or they sometimes even blame the process, right? Like, oh, I tried, but it takes time,
Yeah.
Like like wholesaling is so difficult, right? Like when
Of
I had to
course.
like start wholesaling, right? Because when we started, we only get $5,000. We didn't
Yeah.
have that much money. I don't know if you know or not, but like my wholesale deal was to you, and it was like
I remember.
it was a JV deal, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't really do too much. That was like an easy one, right?
I
Like
remember.
I think I partnered with someone, right? And like I didn't want to take it on because it was a big project
That was the
for
oak
us.
lawn, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the oak lawn, and I made like $8,500, and I think you flipped it and you made like
25,000.
something like
And
that.
guess what? What I did with that deal too, I put none of my own money down. Like I literally, I had a lender that even borrowed. Basically, I JV'd with that person as well, and they put the money down to buy the property because at that time I had too many projects going on,
Mhm.
and I was like, but I really like this one too. I
Yeah.
want this one too, and I didn't have enough cash, and I was like, well, how can I buy this property because it's a good deal. So then I approached a friend of mine that I knew, and I said, would you like to partner on this deal? Here's the split. So we signed a JV agreement, and he put the money down on the property to buy the property,
Mhm.
and he put the money down um, for all the ongoing costs and
Mhm.
everything else, and then the money for the rehab for the rest of the loan I borrowed it from the bank, and we made money. Yeah, we split it. So
Yeah.
it was amazing because that was a deal, for example, that I wanted it because it was a good deal. Like you make money,
Mhm.
you JV'd with somebody else.
Yeah.
They made money too, and
Yeah.
then me and my partner, we also made money.
Yeah.
And the buyer was happy. The buyer that purchased it was happy.
Yeah, and I
So
really thought like you took that on like to support me. I really thought that in the beginning because you knew I was new. I started this, and it was something, that was like too much for me. I
yeah,
felt like that because it was like an easy deal for me, right? I didn't really put too much work into it,
yeah,
but like since this like the first one was easy, but like after that I had to put in work. It took
yeah, of
months
course.
before I got the next one, right?
That's why you know what I really appreciate wholesalers because they do. I usually will never argue with their fee or lower it or do anything like that
Right.
because they really put a lot of work into it. And
It takes a lot of work, yeah.
I want that relationship. I want the wholesaler to give me more deals, and I want them to be happy. And if so what if I pay a little bit more on the fee? The property is still a good deal, and it still makes sense number wise. So, and I've actually purchased, quite a few wholesale deals from wholesalers.
Yeah, you have, and I think you may have purchased like another, like one or two from me, and like you never
Yeah, I did.
negotiated
No,
like on the wholesale fee.
no,
Again,
it's not
probably.
worth it because I think the relationship between me and you and whoever is the wholesaler as well, it's more important to me than um, you know can I haggle for a few $1,000s? Yeah, sure. But then next time you're not gonna approach me anymore. You're not gonna come back
Right.
to me anymore.
Yeah.
And that property might be an incredible deal.
Right.
So, um, you know, so yeah, that's really key.
Yeah, I agree. What's like two, three, $5,000? Like if you're gonna build a good relationship, like that person can bring you like a lot more good deals. Not just deals, but like you may like collaborate.
Yeah.
In the future somehow, right? Like we lend, right, from you
Correct.
now, right,
Yeah.
on some of our deals. So like in a way we're like partners, right? Like I think few we work together on, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we
It's
currently
been a
have
few.
one in Hoffman Estates right now.
Two.
Two of them, yeah.
Yeah.
One in Lombard, and then the other one in Hoffman Estates,
Yeah.
which we're almost done with. Have you seen the Hoffman Estates property yet? No, right?
I have not. No. I mean, yeah. I haven't been there.
So you don't go look at the properties when you land?
I mean, I usually I look at the numbers. So I believe you sent me some pictures already at the beginning, and I've known you guys for a while.
Yeah.
So it's I am not a very, I usually give independence to people, and if they want to do whatever they want to do. I mean, that property both, I mean, all the properties that you have, you have huge, you have a lot of spreads,
Mhm.
like from
Yeah.
the purchase price to the actual value, there's a big spread there.
Yeah.
And the ARV is also a big spread
Right.
after the rehab. So I felt comfortable, without seeing it, and it's I have the title, and I have the lien on the property.
Right.
And everything. So
Yeah, and they're in good areas.
Yeah, they're in good areas,
like,
exactly.
Actually, all of my properties are in like really good areas, right? A and B areas. So
yeah, so I'm okay with, and I mean for me it's a good income as well,
Mhm.
stream, and like you remember that the first property that we did the landing for. I mean, you're pretty good borrowers. You're able to refi. I think that's one of the things that I look for when I'm borrowing to somebody. Have they purchased before?
Mhm.
Have they done refis before? And do they have some kind of additional income that they can afford to pay the interest?
Mhm.
So
Okay. So are you looking to lend to other people?
I usually, if somebody will approach me, people, I usually will go with referrals. So, say if they were from the group, if it's somebody new, I would have to scrutinize them more. Like I would have to
Yeah.
probably ask for, for their credit report or bank statements and W-2s or something like that. And, but right now, I mean, I have funds to lend as well, so I'm not out there looking for
Right.
deals, but
If someone comes to you
Yeah.
and it's a good deal,
yeah,
then you lend.
the deal needs to be really good, because I had a couple of people actually that approached me on some other properties that they wanted lending for, and I could not lend on them because I looked at the numbers right away. I asked them about the rehab, and just they were the numbers just did not make sense. Like what they were paying for the property plus the rehab, there was very small spread between the value after
Mhm.
repair value and what they were gonna spend on it. So I decided, I did not want to land on that property.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, there's been a few that I have not lent to.
Okay.
Because just they're like I said, sometimes the numbers need to be really good because you can easily overspend on the rehab, as you know.
Oh yeah.
And then people can end up in trouble and then not pay the loan. So
Yeah. You always go over your budget.
But if it's a very good deal, worst case, the property can be sold and then the loan will get paid off. So
Right. Do you think there's like good deals out there, because there's so many people like that say, oh, we're waiting for the market to crash, there's not like that many deals out there, and then like I hear from the same people since like the last 3 years since COVID hit that, yeah, we're looking, we don't really find anything, like what do you think?
no, there is a lot of deals out there. There is I get approached as well quite a few times. People just need to, put in offers. They sometimes people just get discouraged because they put in like maybe 5 offers, and then they get outbid, and then they'll be like, oh no, there is no deals out there. Well, when I was actively looking for properties, I was making like 10 to 15 offers a week. So you need to have a good agent to represent you, and you need to be out there making offers. So and also go and network with people and find out what properties they have. But there is not really a shortage of good properties.
Yeah, not even right now, right?
Not even right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
No,
and
there is a lot of good ones.
Yeah, and the market is so good, right?
Yeah.
Like we just listed the one in Lombard, right?
Yeah.
We didn't even do anything to it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like there was a lot of stuff in it. We cleaned it out, and then you helped me list it, right? And like we got an offer, what, the second day?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, same thing with the one that we listed in Downers Grove.
We had 3 offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might get another one today.
Yeah, and like some of them are cash offers too,
Exactly.
right? So like there are deals out there
Yeah.
if you look and if you're consistent.
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean that's a good deal. Like for somebody to rehab it, they will probably
Mhm.
make some money too.
Yeah, and it's a really good location.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like central to everything. There's like a mall over there, like I think 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like nice restaurants and stores, so it's definitely a central location. So like a lot of people, like you just mentioned a few minutes ago, that like people will put in 10 offers, right?
Yeah.
And then they stop, right? Why do you think people stop? Like why are they not consistent?
So I think the reason people stop is because they may not have a good agent. So their agent probably tells them to, I don't know, to probably wait for the market to, you know, to do something. 2, they're not persistent. 3, they're just not making enough offers and they're getting outbid, so they get discouraged. So basically they stop. So that's really the reason why people maybe, that's why they get discouraged and they stop from looking.
Yeah, but it takes time, obviously, right? Like
Of course, because you
Yeah.
have to, you have to go out, look at the properties, do a rehab estimate of how much it would cost to do, to make the property look nice. So all that, driving around, all that does take time, yeah.
mhm.
And some people
Yeah.
work full time and they just don't get the time to do it.
Right, and like Andrew Holmes, he always says, right, it's the people that do good are the ones that have a full-time job,
Yeah,
right? And I see that,
yeah.
like, and then the ones that don't have a job, they're struggling. Do you agree that it would be like their mindset that they need to work on?
Sometimes like when you have too much going on, like you have a family, you have kids, you have property, you have a full-time job, you tend to be more focused and you tend to get things done
Mm-hmm.
because you just don't have the time. Like, so maybe, and some people just need maybe a little bit of procrastination as well, like when you're used to doing nothing,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're not used to doing as much, then you continue with that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a job, you tend to schedule your time better. So
Mhm.
you say, okay, I'm gonna be at my job from 9 to 5, but from 5 to 6 I'm gonna go and see properties. From 6 to 7, 6 to 8 or whatever, I'm gonna spend time with the kids, put them to bed, and then from 8 to 9 I'm gonna continue doing real estate, for example. So you schedule your time better.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas if you don't have say a W-2 job, sometimes people don't know what to do with their time.
Right.
And or they try, and and also when you have a full-time job, as you said, it can help with the lending as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
Like some residential lenders prefer you to have a W-2 job. It's not necessary, but it's a nice thing to have. So, and then you complement, while you're growing the real estate, you complement it with your job income. So I think it's a nice balance. So that's why he probably recommends not to quit your job while you're building the real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not the only one.
Because things can happen. Like when you're buying your first property, you know, you might overspend on the rehab. The numbers may not come in as good. So, you know, those first few deals you're learning.
Right.
So it's not obviously advisable to quit your job, and
Not
unless
for a
you know
while.
what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, not for a while,
not for a while.
right? I don't think it's just Andrew Holmes that says that. Like it's all the mentors, right? Like we're on that boat right now. Like, okay, well, should my husband go or like leave his job, or
Yeah.
you know, should he just keep the job for a little bit more, you know? But it's like when you're doing multiple projects at the same time, it gets really difficult, right? But we've been doing this for the last like 6 years. Right, so like you said, it's not advisable like to leave the job like the first few years. It's really
because
not.
it'll help you grow faster, grow
Right.
quicker. You know, lenders will also lend to you easier. Some residential lenders. Obviously, there is commercial lenders that they don't really care if you have a W-2 job, but it's just harder. You know, you complement that income with additional job income. So.
Right. Okay, and another question that I had for you is like, so we go to all these like masterminds and conferences, right? It's like a lot of men, right? That we see. It's not that many women, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see more women, right? That's why, you know, I started this podcast. Like, why do you think that there's more men than women in this industry? Like, it's male dominant. Like, does it take a certain personality, you know, of a woman, like to be in this industry? What do you think?
I mean, I think anybody can do it, and any you know, any woman can do it. Any woman can do it. It does take sometimes, you know, there is more men in this industry because when you buy a property, you have the rehab part, so then you're meeting contractors, and sometimes, you know, women are just, you know, they finish their work or whatever they're doing, or they may be stay-at-home moms, and they're looking after the children.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the man goes to work, so the man learns and develops himself, whereas the woman stays home with the kids. So, you know, definitely we want to see more women out there, because this is an industry that pretty much, you know, women can easily handle this. And even with kids, like I used to take my older one, actually, when I did one of my last rehabs, latest rehabs, it was early this year. I had to go to the property a few times, and it was Park Ridge, and it was close to my house, not too far away. So I would take the older one and just, you know, I would actually ask her, what do you think we should put here?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we should do here?
Yeah.
And she would give me ideas. And it's kind of nice because it teaches them about, you know, it's fun for them. Like they would go inside, run around the house, you know, hide in one of the rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and play hide and seek and all that.
Because the houses are empty, right? So, yeah.
So, you know, I remember once, like, she was saying to me, Mama, can we actually live here? Because it turned out so beautiful that she was like, Mama, can we actually live here? Can we stay here?
Which one was this?
The one in Park Ridge.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. I did go and see that one.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, you know, I can have my bedroom on the top floor. You know, and it was, you know, she saw it a few times actually. So I even bring my kids sometimes to these rehabs. You know, they're learning. I want to teach them about this. You know, and it's different. Like they're not, you know, staying at home all day, you know, and then moms have to figure out something to do with them.
Right.
We can do this with the kids as well and bring them along. And I mean, like, I used to go to Home Depot with my kids. I'll put them in the cart, and they would kind of pretend to help me load up the cart. I mean, I would usually have the GC, but it was like little stuff like lights.
Yeah.
I would need to pick some of the lights and stuff like that. And I was very picky with the lights. I always wanted them to pick. I always wanted lights to be, I wanted to pick them myself. So I was very picky on that. So I would just go with the kids and
take
buy
the kids
them.
along. Yeah, I do that
and
too.
I would be like, okay, which one do you like? I would ask their opinion.
Yeah. Kind of make it fun.
Yeah, make it fun.
Yeah.
Like, and so to answer your question, like, I think women, especially doing rehabs, I think women can turn something really ugly into something amazingly beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think if we only try, I think we can do great things.
But there are like a lot of real estate agents who are women, but not investors.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
which is a shame, because like I said, I mean, women are amazing. Like especially the decorating, the planning or the decorating side of the house. Like, you see, I mean, of course, men are also good,
Yeah, they
are. But the women have something, like, their brain is wired differently, and we can think of so many, we are very detail orientated, and we can take something, like I said, so ugly and turn it into something really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like a woman can like be a stay-at-home mom and do this, right? They can probably do like 2 or 3 a year starting out, right? And they would still be good.
It's really like I personally enjoy turning something, like where you see that the properties, needs everything to be changed. Like, it's got dirty carpet, the kitchens are super filthy, the bathrooms are like all gutted down.
Yeah.
And then you pick your own finishes with the property. You pick your own cabinets, you pick your own tiles, and you turn it into something amazing. That's very fulfilling for me.
But I think what you're talking about, like these ugly houses, I think that's what turns women away, right? Because they think, oh, this is something, a man, like, it's construction. A man should be doing construction, not a woman, right? But we're not doing the work. We're hiring people,
We're
right?
just basically hiring contractors and telling them what we want them to do.
Right, and you don't have to start out with big projects, right? Like, like I started out with like doing ranch homes, right? Like
something
level, something small, and it's not, you hire people, right? You hire a GC or you hire subcontractors, right? Like, I know you don't hire subcontractors, right? Like, I hired subcontractors like for my first like 2 or 3 projects, right? But I learned a lot, and like obviously we didn't have that much money, right, in the beginning, so we had to, to save money. But if you have the extra money, you can hire a general contractor, right? But if you don't, hire subcontractors who do different things, right? And then like there's so many different groups where you can get referrals from.
Yeah, of course,
Right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So like, do you think like a woman can like learn this on their own, or do you think they have to like go to a mentor?
I think definitely going to a mentor would be very useful. It can be learned on they can learn it on their own. However, it's going to be much harder because you may make a lot of mistakes that otherwise would have been avoided if you work with a mentor. I think the mentor kind of helps you, guides you to to not make those mistakes and make your first project successful and your second project successful. Like we did, right? We did mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that we grew so much
From it, yeah.
From it.
Yeah, and we met amazing people. Like,
I mean, I tried to do it on my own before, and I, I bought a couple of properties before, but they were not good deals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized when I did the mentorship that, oh my God, aha moment, like, why did I even buy this property? Why did I even, what did I see? Like, because I didn't have that knowledge.
right.
I didn't know what to buy, how to buy. So, yeah, definitely women can grow faster if they get the right mentorship.
Yeah, and they can be stay-at-home moms
Yeah.
and do this, right? Like
Absolutely.
they can like I drop my kids sometimes in the morning, and I pick them up most of the days, right?
Yeah.
I'm able to do this because of the business.
Yeah,
Right.
and you just schedule your times. Like, you have to drop off the kids from 9 to 9:30, or from 8:30 to 9:30, and you don't schedule anything during that time, or pickup time. Don't schedule anything at that time. But the rest of the time, women can do this very.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for the longest time, like I used my kids as an excuse, right? But it wasn't the kids, it was me, because I didn't believe in myself, right? And I had my own fears and doubts, right? But whenever I would talk to people, I would be like, oh my God, I have my kids, like especially
Yeah.
during COVID, like I can't put them in school, like I have to take care of them, like all my energy is used just taking care of them and the house stuff, right? Like I used that excuse for like 3 years, and then there came a point where I'm like, I need to stop making excuses. I made all sorts of excuses, right? Like when I wanted to scale up,
Yeah,
right?
of
Like
course.
obviously I was taking my action, right? Especially in the beginning when we didn't have money, right? That's why I was wholesaling, because we didn't have money, and I let go of so many deals, right? Because I couldn't have too much money stuck, right? But it was good because that's how I learned off marketing, right? Otherwise I would have never delved into it, right?
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I remember like I went to go see a house in Streamwood in like a townhouse in Streamwood on like Barrington Road. You know those townhouses,
Yeah.
right? And it was through a wholesaler, right? And like I had called him because I think there was a lot of stuff in the house and I couldn't get through, and like he started yelling at me, It's like, you must be new to this, like houses like this have a lot of stuff, like he was so rude, I don't remember his name, but like at that time I told myself, like, I am gonna learn off marketing. Like, who does he think he is, like and not, like it kind of like fueled me, like how can someone talk to you like that, like, so it fueled me. And like, a year later I found a property in that same area off market. It's like you need to like just believe in yourself and like just take the action, right? And like go after it,
Yeah.
right? And not use excuses. Like we come up with so many different excuses,
Yeah.
right? Like don't come up with excuses, because it's just gonna stop you. Like you're not gonna do anything.
Yeah. I think the better question would be, how can I get what I want? Rather than, why am I not getting what I want?
Yeah, you're right.
It's asking the question like, how can I get it? How? Like, what do I need to be successful? And then I think the answers will come to you.
Yeah, you're right. I think we use a lot of like our energy, like just thinking about what you just said, right? Instead of like just doing it, right? Like that's what happened to me. And then my mentor had to tell me, like, look, you're using this energy. Like we only have a certain amount of energy, in a day, and you're using like this much energy complaining about your kids, about the house and everything, right? And then you have like just this much left.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So like I stopped complaining, and when I stopped complaining, that's when like it started working for me.
Of course.
And like I know like you're not a complainer at all. Since like I've known you, like you're always positive, like you're grounded. Like I never, like sometimes you're like you're on top of things, but in a good way, right? Like even with like the properties that we have listed right now, there's times when I get busy and you're like, you call me, right, and tell me like, hey Nita, you have to do this, like if I forget, right, like we all have a lot going on. But yeah, I like that about you, like you're always on top of things, you're so savvy, and like you don't give up, you keep going.
Yeah, of course.
Right,
yeah.
you have to keep going, right? Like I'm sure you have challenges too, right, in life, and then even in your real estate investing journey, I'm sure you've had some challenges, right?
Of course.
How have you, like, give me one big challenge that you've had, and like how did you overcome it?
So one of the big challenges that I had was a big rehab. I undertook a pretty large rehab in Westchester.
Okay.
And it was a 3-unit building. I paid like 170,000 for it, something like that, 170,000 or 175, and the rehab on it ended up being at 210 or 220,000. But the biggest challenge was that I had my contractors there. I had checked with the village about the permits before starting the rehab, and I had it in writing from them saying that no, I do not need a permit. However, when the guys were there working, the village came there and they put a stop work order there. So we had to deal with that, and they were a pretty tough village. So that kind of process taught me a lot. They came and then they gave me a huge list of items to fix, to basically bring up the code, everything. And they even asked me to demolish the garage, a beautiful brick garage that was there, which I won my argument with them. I had to hire like an architect to to check the structure of the garage. I had to hire an architect to check the structure of the house and the garage both. So they had to do a report for me, basically saying that the property is structurally sound, the garage is structurally sound, it does not need to get demolished. But that was like just 5% of what they asked me to do. It was, there was a person in the village that was working there he no longer works there, but he was very, very tough, very tough. So that was like, I was glad I kept that property because the value was worth it. Like after the repair, after the rehab, the value came in at like 570,000, which was great. So
it worked out for you.
It worked out, but it was pretty tricky. That was one of the challenges that I had. And I purchased another house in the city of Chicago, where we had issues with the tenants there. The first tenant that was placed in there, it was a 2-unit building. I actually had a property management that picked one of the and this was a big lesson for me because they picked the tenant, and I was so busy because at that time it was when I had my first baby, and I let them run with it, which is fine. But when I rented to tenants, I usually like to interview them and speak to them. So I was so busy at that time, and I let them basically put the people in there. They ended up being evicted. They never paid the second month rent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So that was at the beginning when I started.
Wow.
And I had my first ever project that I did was I hired a GC, which basically did work which had to be completely redone. So that was another challenge that I had. So these were like the first few projects where you're learning. So if I had given up at that point, I would have basically, not been where I am now.
Right.
So again, that the key is perseverance and not giving up.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a few challenging moments, but
Yeah.
Nothing that cannot be resolved.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, there's nothing that cannot be resolved. I think, sometimes you need to get help from somebody else. Like I had to hire an attorney for the building in Westchester, which helped me through it. And after that, everything was fine.
Yeah, and even like other investors, right? You can like talk to other investors.
Yeah.
Like they may have gone through the same thing, and maybe they can like kind of guide you, right?
Yeah.
So.
But again, that teaches you a lot of things. Like, first, you need to screen the tenants. Secondly, you need to work with reputable contractors. People, and it's you learn. The more deals, the more rehabs you do, you learn.
Yeah, you learn.
Things, yeah.
You learn from every project.
Yeah.
So when you how did you scale up, right? Like there's times when we're for example, like us, we were only doing like 2-3 a year, and then we went to doing like multiple a month. Like how does one scale up, and how does one like I had to like work on, I had some money blocks, right? So I had to work on that too, right? Like because we feel like we cannot make more than this much, right? Like we're not worthy of it. Like how does one overcome the money blocks, and how does one overcome like scaling up, like, and the struggles that come with it?
So I think like when I was scaling up, I happened to do a lot of deals. I happened to get a lot of properties under contract. Like, I remember I was doing like 7 rehabs in 1 month, which was quite a bit. And I had to put different crews with different properties. And I had to use subcontractors, and some of it I had to manage it myself. So I think that's that helps. It does help scale up, but there are some challenges that come with it. So on some properties, the rehab was going higher than what I was borrowing from the bank. So I had to make a decision. Like, I had to sell one, rent another one, do another refi on another one to get more cash out. So and I had to ask our mentor to for help. Like, okay, so I have all this going on, what do I do now? Like, please help me with this.
Yeah. And he helped you out, right? Okay. And did you have like money blocks? Because when you go, like, when you're doing multiple, like, you're making a lot more money, right? Like, did you have money blocks?
No,
you never had money blocks. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think once I made the first few flips, like that I was able to sell some and got the cash out of it, I was like, amazing, like, this is incredible. I can make a whole year of salary in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
So that was like, aha, like, right?
Yeah.
Incredible moment. It's like, wow, this is so powerful. And you just keep going.
Yeah. So I think, like, for you, it's been I think like was it slow, like, for you in the beginning, and or was it steady?
No, it was slow. I mean, it took 6 months to get my first deal. And then another 3-4 months to get another property. And then I was doing like 1 a month. And then I scaled up at that point. I was like, okay, there were some months that I was doing like 4, 5, 6, 7 a month.
So did you have to work on like your leadership skills and like work on delegation and all that
Of
when
course,
you scaled
yeah,
up?
of course. Like delegation is super important.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to have people there. You need to have a team of people. So it was at that point that I scaled up that, you know, I could trust somebody to run it by themselves, and me just coming there and just, you know, doing the finishing parts. So yeah, definitely you, before you scale up, you definitely need to have a good team around you that can support you
Okay.
when things go wrong.
Right. What about leadership? Like how did you work on your leadership skills?
I mean, where I currently work, I am in a leadership role. So
Okay.
and I've done a lot of courses. I've done a lot of leadership courses. I've done, you know, personal development on leadership, and I keep updating myself. I keep, you know, listening to great leaders, and because sometimes you just you know you get sucked into the daily routine that, you know, you're kind of doing your own thing, but you forget about your own self. Like you're
Right.
basically serving, you know, serving the kids, serving your family, serving everybody else, but then you forget about yourself. So it's very important to take time for yourself. And, you know, thankfully I have a supporting husband as well, who is amazing, who's
Yeah,
really amazing.
he is. He helps you a lot with
Yeah,
the kids.
and so I've been able to basically, you know, and he helps out, like if I need to go somewhere, and vice versa. Like if he needs to work on his business and meet with people and do his, you know, his work, I'm there for him as well. So
Right. Yeah, and you were telling me a few days ago, right? He takes the kids to the events, like, and it doesn't distract him at all.
Yeah.
Like that's an amazing skill that he has, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I
yeah,
can do it.
he's taking them to events.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they've been okay with him.
Yeah.
So for some reason, when I'm around, they they're not as quiet as they are with him.
Yeah, and he's the host. It's not like he's just
Yeah.
attending these events, right? And he's somehow able to manage it all,
Yeah.
right? That's great. Like taking them like to a project is one thing, but taking them to like an event that you're hosting, that's
Yeah.
you need a lot of focus, which I think he has.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what message do you have for people that are watching? Because one message can change a lot for someone. Like for me, I went to Pace Morby's mastermind, right, a few months ago, and he had said, you know, some of you are playing small, right? And that was me. I was playing small, right? Like I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be on social media. You know, I have my own reasons, right? But I've overcome that, right? But like that, what does personal development have to do with all this, right? Like one of my mentors, Pace Morby, he says like if you're not personal developing, your business is failing. A lot of people don't understand, right? Like how important personal development
Of course.
is, right? What do you think?
Of course, yeah. I mean, personal development is a key area for women to grow, because they find like a supporting environment. So, you know, they may find friends, they may find other women who are doing the same thing. So they kind of group together and support each other. And sometimes it can be very like, let's say if you're a stay-at-home mom with or even if you're working full-time, it's very easy to kind of keep doing the same routine every day, and you know, you take the kids to school, you go to work, you pick them up, you then start cooking dinner and all that. So it's very, very so it's very easy to get into their routine and basically forget about everything else. So I personally feel that personal development has a huge role to play in growing women into, you know, their potential, because you don't know what you don't know. So and sometimes, I mean, that's what has helped me. Like, I've been to seminars and I've been to a lot of courses, and I've had aha moments by just listening to the speakers or speaking to other women about, you know, about the event, about different things, and it kind of gave me that encouragement, that strength, that, you know, that I can be, you know, I can do this too, and I can be whoever I want to be, and achieve basically my goals, achieve my dreams and my goals.
But how does personal development help with like scaling up?
It does help because you have a supporting, like, let's say you meet other women who are doing it, and you get together and you basically learn what they're doing. So you kind of get to meet a lot of mentors and coaches. So, and they help you grow. They definitely help you grow. So that's, personal development is a huge part. I mean, it's so important. And don't stop. Don't just do one course and you know, that's my message to everybody here, is that don't just do one course and stop. Keep learning, and find, you know, networks of the area that you want to be in. You know, that's if women wanna grow in real estate, find meetups, find groups that you can meet so many people that are doing it, and you know, you don't have that block in your mind that basically is, you know, that doesn't allow you to do it. Like, you meet all these people and they are doing it, so it gives you that motivation, it gives you that encouragement that you can do it too.
Right. And then what does like loving yourself mean to you? You know, because some people think, oh, if you love yourself, you're being selfish. You know, you're not like thinking about other people. Like, what does it mean to you?
Well, so loving yourself is, you know, I think, again, that's extremely important, and it's not selfish. You know, when you love yourself, you give more. Like, you're happy.
Yeah.
So you give more to your family, you give more to your friends, you give more to everybody, whoever you meet to, because you're happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's what loving yourself means to me. So it's not selfish at all. It's the contrary. It's the best thing that you can do, so that you can give more to whoever you meet. You know, your family. You know, the most important for me anyway is my family. So when I'm loving myself, is I do way more for the kids. I'm more available. I'm more, you know, present. Yeah.
Yeah, but why? So like, you don't, like, I'm not being selfish right now because I'm doing this. I'm gonna be doing this for like the next 2 days. Like, some people may think I'm being selfish, right? Like, but if I don't do what I'm passionate about, if I don't like work towards my purpose in life, right? Like, I'm gonna be suppressed. I'm not gonna be happy, right? If I'm not happy, then I can't give to my family, right? Like you said, I can't be available for my family, and I cannot, you know, be present, right? Because my mind is always just gonna be on like what it is that I want to do. Right?
Yeah,
so it's not being selfish, because a lot of mothers, they think that you're being selfish, right? Because you're going after your dreams and your goals, and like, you know, you're going to all these masterminds and stuff like that, right? Like
they will have a happy mama.
Yeah, because they're doing what they want, and the kids are watching you too, right? The kids are seeing them. My mom is going after her dreams, right?
I mean, sometimes like women get frustrated, and if like you said, I mean, they want to do something, they get frustrated because they're not doing it, and then they can take it on their kids, they can take it on everybody around them, and you know, they're not happy, and they continue not being happy, but they feel like, you know, they're kind of trapped into that circle. So I think, you know, by going out after and going after your dreams, it's not selfish at all. I mean, you're doing it to grow yourself,
right,
and to do basically something that makes you so very happy, and you know, try to find support to help you with the kids, and that's really my message to everybody. And go after your dreams, go after whatever you want to do, because everybody will benefit around you. You know, all your family, you know, you're giving your best. Once you go after your dreams, you're like you really feel like you can give your best to your kids, to your family, to everybody.
Everyone, yeah, and you'll be happy, right? You're fulfilling your purpose, right?
Yeah.
So the
mothers.
It's
a win-win-win for everyone.
Right, yeah, so the mothers that feel like that, you know, like that they're being selfish, because I talk to a lot of people, right, and I do have like some moms that say we feel a lot of guilt, we feel, you know, like we're being selfish, you know, like even me, sometimes the guilt kicks in, you know, when I go to masterminds, right, like if I'm away, you know, for like a few days, but like then I tell myself it's okay, like it's normal, it's okay to feel what I'm feeling, but I'm doing this for my purpose, right? Like the guilt definitely kicks in. It's normal to feel that. It's normal to feel whatever it is, and allow yourself to feel it, right? Otherwise, you're suppressing your emotions, and that's not good, because you can, you know, like you can get frustrated. You can take that anger out on your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're coming to an end. What message do you have for our viewers, right? Like for me recently, I heard a message, right? I went to Case Morby's mastermind a few months ago, and he had said, some of you are playing small, right? And that was me. I was playing small, right? I was not out there. I was not on social media. I was not like going to that many things, but another reason was also because, you know, I wanted to like keep my focus, prioritize and stuff like that, right? Sometimes you have to do that, right? Like to make things happen, because if you're all over the place, you can't really keep your focus, right? But that one message changed a lot for me, you know, in those 3 days, that one message, you know, that, you know, I had a breakthrough. Not just a breakthrough, I had breakthroughs, right? So like, what message do you have for people that are watching? Like one message can change a lot.
Yeah, of course. So I think the message to everybody listening here is basically go after your dreams, aim to reach for the stars, so you can at least go, you know, come halfway through it. That was one of my mentors actually told me that before, and it was kind of reach for, you know, let's say strategize and look at your, you know, write down your goals. Where do you want to be in a week's time? Where do you want to be in a month's time? Where do you want to be in 6 months time? Where do you want to be in 12 months time? Where do you want to be in 5 years time? That was one of the things that I did before, and I was actually going through my old stuff, my old books, my old papers, notes, and I found this piece of paper, and I read it, and I was like, that piece of paper was written like 8-9 years ago, And I was reading this, and I had achieved every single thing
Wow, that's amazing.
that was on that piece of paper and more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is so powerful. So my message to everybody out there is, dream big, go for your goals, and if you persevere, if you insist, if you don't give up, if you keep going, you will get to where you want to get to.
Okay. Any other messages for women that are struggling to take action?
I think just do it. I mean, that's really been one of my mottos is don't overthink it. Don't sit up for hours trying to make a decision. Just do it. Just buy that first property. Take action. Don't just sit and think about taking action, because thinking is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Just, keep, make a goal and stick to it until you complete it, until you finish it. And also one of the other things is don't do too many things at once too. Like, try to do one or two things, but do them very well and complete them. Because I've heard this from a lot of people, that they start a lot of things, they start a lot of projects, and they do very well at the beginning, but then they don't complete them, they don't finish them. So they're kind of half projects. So that's another message to, don't overspread yourself into too many places, but just do a few key projects, like a few key tasks that are very important, and stick with them through the end and complete them.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Nita, for inviting me here. It's been a pleasure to to speak with you, and all the best.
Thank you. It was great having you and catching up. Right, I don't think we have sat down like this for a few months, right?
Exactly.
We talk on the phone all the time, but we're always
remember.
busy with the business and the kids and everything, so this was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.